day.
Yeah. I watched every commentary on all the Lord of the Rings movies.
That's a good time too.
That was a dark time. Although
was it a dark time?
Yeah, this was New York. Remember when we watched them all?
Oh yeah, that was a dark time.
Because it was like we wanted to make something, but we weren't in a position to, so we would just watch other people make things.
We were so poor.
I just saw a couple of things that really made me want to go back and watch the Lord of the Rings movies, the Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait now to...
if that's what they did for you, then they did their job, I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah, they're so good.
That was
Christmas.
me taking a big shit on the Hobbit movies.
Yes.
We heard that. We got it.
By the way, you can't make 3 movies out of one book and have anything that happens in the second movie trick me into thinking it matters.
Yeah.
I know that the dwarves all live till the end. I know that everything you're doing in this mine is bullshit.
It's going to be fine. Everybody's going to work out fine.
I think those movies have so many missteps to the point where you can't even call them missteps because the whole thing is terrible. Nothing about it is really good.
There are a couple of steps, but everything else is missteps.
I don't know if there are any steps, but for me the biggest thing that they went from practical orcs to like CG orcs, and all the orcs like look completely different now, even though they're the same race, and those guys always look so cool, the orcs, because it was all like makeup and you could feel these,
they're fucking New Zealand dudes.
Now they're just like sort of wobbly and flying around. Those movies.
Those movies bug
well, everything is so it's such a 1980s like philosophy about like I thought the post Schwarzenegger days, like we had learned that action, no matter how expensive it was, doesn't enthrall you as much as Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Sure.
It doesn't enthrall you as much as the winner of Best Original Screenplay can. And here you are working with this great source material and this passionate director, and like it is so weird to see you engaging in Bruckheimerism,
Yeah.
That river rafting scene. What are we doing? That was not a terrible scene, but what are we doing?
I know, it's such an odd thing.
Yeah.
It made me feel so. I was just like, okay, I can recognize that in a vacuum, your barrel riding
great action
CG
scene.
action movie
Yeah.
is very interesting.
What are we doing?
You, if I was a college professor and this class was called making river barreling a car chase, you get an A+, but I'm not teaching that class. That's not a degree you should be
not
getting.
a class.
In the book, they just get in some barrels. They're dwarves. They're innocents. They're like, I grew up on the Ralph Bakshi kind of thing.
Sure.
But I guess but I also read the book, and you can't make one book into 3 movies.
You just can't.
And
That's
it's also
the basic. Yeah.
all those dwarves they look so similar, and they're all the same, and there's no like.
They keep asking you to get invested in. That's the Jared Leto dwarf.
There's
one
weird
of them
hot dwarfs with still with the fat fingers because they did that for some reason.
Well, there's one of them that's now in love with the elf
one dwarf
lady.
is hot to the lost elf.
The lost elf, who should not be in there at all.
Well, also
bunch of
is Legolas in?
No,
Nope.
he's not
He's
even a
in
little bit.
these.
So he's in them, and you're like, it's like a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
weird.
such a because the original Lord of the Rings, what he said was in the commentaries, he said that whenever he would stage these huge action scenes, it was 50-50. 50% close-ups of the people we know, Aragorn, Legolas, what they're doing, and then pull back and show the scale of it and random people fighting, and then go back to the people you care about. And that's how you get the spectacle, but you're also invested in the story because you know these characters. But The Hobbit doesn't have any of that because...
They also don't have characters I'm invested in, so we can't even do it.
All of them, all those dwarves are all the same. They all look the same.
Yeah.
They do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Hobbit was this really charming, immersive, amazing, textural story that really you have to be Bilbo Baggins to experience it. You have to be in his shoes.
You mean the guy who's barely in the movies?
Right.
Yeah.
Because it is like from his perspective, the dwarves are basically indistinguishable, and Gandalf is this fucking weirdo, this insane person, this homeless man that has come and sucked him into this world, like Doctor Who or any of these characters that kind of like they have bigger fish to fry and you don't know what's going on. In these movies, by the way, we keep cutting to Gandalf and showing where he goes, which only raises the question. So wait, this is Gandalf eating a sandwich, this is Gandalf going to meet his friend, and this is Gandalf like using his wand to fucking destroy half a mountain. Now it's really weird
that he does nothing later?
That when you hang out with the dwarves in the canonical material, you you set a pine cone on fire. Now it's egregious because now I see what you do when you go and fight snow demons.
Oh, that's exactly right. His powers are so vague.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
And then it means that he really later on in the Lord of the Rings movies was not giving it his all, really, if you think about it.
No, it used to be because it was from the perspective of Bilbo, like he was the protagonist. It was that there was this man who disappeared at horribly inopportune times, but would explain that he had been here and there.
He'd been with you the whole time, like Jesus.
Exactly. And that, or like Ford Prefect in Hitchhiker's Guide. Like he had bigger fish to fry, and it was like you felt lost and helpless, like Arthur Dent. You just wanted to know when your breakfasts were coming and when your 11s and your second teas and breakfast. You know, like you were from the Shire and you wanted things to be normal, and all these other people were from the adventure world. So it's Lord of the Rings lent itself more. It was like okay, welcome to the Bible, the weird world of adventure. But The Hobbit does not lend itself to that at all.
Yeah,
that is interesting. It's always about the intersection of like the mundane, which is like the hobbits, and they get swept up in this fantastical world.
Yeah, he's like even Bilbo, let alone the dwarves, are like Jackie Chan in that movie. They're just
the barrel scene where the guy
slaying spiders,
where that guy like who's like in the barrel who like fucking takes out 30 people, and then he spins around with the two axes.
Yeah, we all had Hook flashbacks, right?
Yeah, so exactly. Why don't you do that all the time? That was unbelievable.
Oh, I was in it for the Hook.
Well, we're gonna get we pick on. I don't want to say pick on it, but we're
gonna get some hate.
We spout our opinions about The Hobbit on this podcast often, and we always get people.
If you like it, you are totally entitled to like it.
Good for you. We also said the same thing about Dark Knight Rises, and people get upset at us, and Man of Steel people get upset at us. But you have your opinions; these are ours.
I just want to say to those people, I understand what you're going through. I understand that for you, like as they said about the Snowman Dad and Jack Frost, Snow Dad is better than No Dad.
Good reference.
That that having a culture of comic books and nerd stuff being made into major motion pictures is such a, you don't want to disturb that because you're afraid that if you complain or don't like it, they'll stop feeding you. You'd rather watch three hours of stuff about goblins than 3 hours of Paul Rudd learning to get laid again. I agree with you, but I also think that the reason you like what you like is because deep down, really, it's the Batman is a folk hero. He generates more interesting stories. The Hobbit books, the source material, these are good storytelling. I think if you transfer your nerd love for just anything that has a certain title or to it,
capes,
over to just like the idea that what you really like is really compelling, interesting, high concept, sci-fi fantasy shit. Like, you're gonna continue to rule the world. Like you're in the silent majority.
They're not gonna stop feeding you.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it's not the Gaza Strip. Like no one's gonna, if you let someone get away with saying the Hobbit movies suck, you're not gonna go to hell.